Yes, it is that time again. In a week in which some leagues lost their cool over desync issues, easily solved by restarting the lobby and setting the grid manually, TGP, like a fine wine, races on, and our championship battle that has promised so much already got off to a brilliant start this time last week. We were given a brand new league winner, but becoming the 77th in the top tier. We also saw Cliffy make the top step of the podium 3 years on from his most recent victory. And tonight we have something a little special. A race at the brand new Portimao track. Our drivers have only had 1 day to practice, and this will be the first ever F1 League race around this circuit. So what is in store today? Well, after this, we've got Monaco as well. So it is going to be a very eventful night as Matt Tibbles has spun round and he's in the wall. And that's not the start he wanted to this qualifying session. Welcome then to the first of 2 rounds tonight. And as you can see, Matt Tibbles not having the best start already with major front wing damage. It's very easy to spin around this circuit. Turns 4 and turns 8 are the tricky parts, but this is quite some circuit. Co-masters have really done a good job around this track, and Dan the Man might have an issue here.
Luca spawned in front of me.
Luca, another casualty already, and that's another front wing going around this circuit. He's now in the gravel, probably getting out of the way of other cars maybe. Nope, not at all. But yeah, already 2 cars in the wars, and we're only 4 minutes into this session. Championship leader, Glock, got off to the best possible start last week, winning the opening round. Wasn't so fortunate next time out in Australia, wasn't able to match the pace of ERT Cliffy, who pretty much dominated that Australian Grand Prix. It was a fantastic race throughout, some fantastic midfield battles on both occasions. But 2 winners from the opening 2 races. And just look at this circuit. Absolutely fantastic. Can Glock take his 2nd league win? Let's follow him as he crosses the line, and already 2 tenths quicker than the rest of the field. A 1:16.895 with Jake and his teammate Jonas 2nd and 3rd provisionally. Jack Hickey.
What tyres he's done that on?
He did that on the soft tyres. Jack Hickey's gone right behind him. Just a 10th difference as Javel Manatee sets a very good lap in P4. Let's see who else out there is on a lap at the moment. Phil Bargewell in his 199th league race. Next time out in Monaco, it will be his 200th. We've promised him a cake. Whether or not I'm going to be able to get one in time, we'll have to wait and see. But Phil Bargewell about to start his lap now. So let's go on board then. Where's the Williams driver as we go around this fantastic circuit? Turn 1, 2 and 3 I really do like. Got to be very careful on turn 2 not to touch that curb. And get the brake and just bang on this, a very slow part of the track. And you can see Phil Bargewell taking it so cautiously. Turn 4, already catching out Matt Tibbles this week. But Phil Bargewell is able to get through there pretty safely. This circuit really has impressed the drivers. They've not had much to practice. As I said, it came out yesterday. So only 24 hours for these drivers to set laps and get used to the circuit. A circuit that's not been on a previous F1 game. So to a lot of these drivers, it could be their first running around this track. I think Roy, Jovel Manatee, was one of them. Like a roller coaster, this circuit. And Phil Bargewell setting some good lap times. Let's get some data up to see how he is progressing around this circuit. Already purple in the middle sector. Phil has set a very quick middle sector. What can he do in this final leg of the circuit? This final couple of corners is so crucial to get that penultimate corner right. You need a good exit and a good entry into the final bend. It's still blocked from Jack, from Jake, from Jonas. But where can Phil Bargewell put his Williams? He dives into the pit lane. Does he know he's going for the quickest line? Very far at the inside of the circuit, and Phil Bargewell goes into P7, just ever so slightly ahead of Dan the Man. Aidan Griffins.
I'm out of fuel, coach.
Aidan Griffins did set a lap time, but I believe it was invalidated. So he'll go again, but that's going to be another invalidation, I think. Not what Aidan needs early on in this session. Of course, Aidan is a taken man these days. He is no longer a single Pringle. He has a girlfriend, and since he's had a girlfriend, he's lost about 0.3 of a second a lap at most circuits. So they say kids add time to you. Well, girlfriends also add time to your laps, because Aidan Griffin's down in 14th at the moment. Not where he needs to be. Matt Tibbles needs to set a lap time already. The pressure's starting to mount. With 11 minutes to go, he cannot afford to have another invalidation. This is the corner that caught him out before, turn 4. He gets it right this time. Not too generous with the curb, so he does not invalidate it. It's a 21.9 first sector. I think that's a 10th slower than what Glock managed the previous on his best lap time.
How was your
So
time
dark
on
at
the
this track.
mediums, Alistair?
Oh, great.
I tried to give you the toe at the end, but I don't know if it did anything.
For fuck's sake.
We apologise for the language. Of course, language is actually acceptable in Netherlands. So to our Netherlands streamers, great comments there from Court. But to the rest of the world, we do apologise for Court's comments there. We do apologise. Matt Tibbos, 1:16.6 is the time to beat, set by ERT Cliffy. He displaced Glock from that provisional pole time. What can Matt Tibbos do? He crosses the line. And he goes 6 seconds off the pace. So not a lap time that Matt Tibbos will be counting towards the end of this session. Matt Tibbos already under some sort of pressure with 9 minutes to go in this session.
I'm gonna be swinging in Dutch now, just to be sure.
Hoot de Putin. Mr. Chiapelli, very respectable P6. That's the only word I know in Dutch. Hoot de Putin. It's highlights, I think, in Dutch.
Oh, hoogtepunten.
Hoogtepunten.
Not even close.
Oh, I'm close enough. Hoogtepunten. Now, bear with me. I've broken my chair during that introduction, so I'll be in one moment.
Lucky Jack's not in the party to chat shite that you can't build a chair.
I'm in the party actually, hello!
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, lap time validated. I was just parked and also the practice park. I mean,
So
who's
look-
the Putin?
Quick rundown then of the order so far. Halfway through the session, it's Cliffy and Glock, the front row, the two winners from last week. It's Jack and Jake on the third row. Sam Hickey, a very impressive P5 at the moment. The Aston Martin drivers in the top 5. I'll be very happy with that so far. Mr. Chiapelli, oh, very well done. P6, former 2-time champion in TGB2. Hitting it with the big boys now, ahead of Johners, Joval Manatee, Alistair, and Phil Bardwell. Not having the best 199th race, currently down in P10.
Ah, fuck.
We apologise for the comments of Johnny Taylor.
Oh, sorry.
Hoot the Putin.
Hoot de Putin.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, hoot the Putin.
Hoot de Putin.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, hoot the
Hoogtepunten.
Unfortunately, just 19 drivers tonight. CJH is unable to join at the moment. Some sort of connectivity issues for the Englishman, so let's hope he can get in here very soon. And look at that, it's a T-Dog. JD front row at the moment. JD into second place. 2/10 adrift of Cliffy, but just narrowly ahead of Glock, the championship leader. What a lap from Jake. It's been a while since we've seen this former champion at the front end of the grid, but that is a very good lap time. Maybe it's going to benefit those that are quick at learning brand new circuits, because of course, one day to practice. Let's see who needs to set laps. Aidan Griffin's P17. This has not been the best qualifying for him so far, has it? Looked like he might struggle. Had a poor result in Bahrain, a race he'd won previously the year before. But he did come back fine with a great result at the next race in Australia. So what can Aidan do here tonight with Portugal and Monaco? Two very interesting circuits as the car in front. Hopefully for him won't cause too much problems. It is the Alpine of Court. But Court will jump out of the way and Aidan Griffins will go through, take the line, and continue to push round. It's another quick middle sector. Not quite the pace of Cliffy, but it's right up there with the likes of JD Glock and Jack Hickey. So what can the Scot do round the final couple of corners now? The Red Bull driver needs to get himself at the very front. Needs to be careful not to cut or go wide at the final corner. We saw Phil take a very early line, very inside to the line. Aidan's going to do the same, so maybe that's something I to know for tomorrow for TGB2. Aidan crosses the line and goes second. What a lap. Wow.
Get it, girl. Get it. Hi,
Can you-
Kayla.
Can you find the 2/10, Aidan, to get yourself at the very front?
Possibly. Maybe.
Well, as I said, girlfriends add 2/10 to your lap time, so if you could bin Kayla off, you could put yourself into pole position. But of course, Aidan wouldn't do that because he loves his girlfriend very much. Glock goes quickest with a 1:16.4, 2/10 quicker than the field, and now that's going to send a message to the rest of the order.
Do you need possible toll also? Maybe.
Yes.
Hoot and Putin.
So attention's turned then to the Williams of Cliffy. Can he respond to Glock's 1:16.4? He's 2/10 adrift. He needs to find that time, but we know he made a mistake in the first sector on his last run, so he could well find it all there. We're about to get the time for the second sector, and he is almost well, just over a tenth up on his previous best. So if he can find one more tenth, he can get himself back to P1 as time runs out in this session. It'll be very tight as if he can get back in time. Set another lap after this one. Of course, he'll have to have an out lap.
Oh, who the poon?
An in lap, then an out lap. We've got a spinner in the background. It's a Has. I think it might be Johners because I wouldn't expect Glock to be spinning around. But ELT Cliffy to the line. Is he going to take provisional pole position? He doesn't. He improves. He improves by a tenth and a half, but he's still half a tenth adrift of Glock. Now he's got to get back to the pit lane and get in his final run.
Join me on the next time around then, Alistair, if you want the tow. You can just tail me on the lap.
Holy shit, sideways.
Try and get you up here as well.
Sorry, who the poon?
That has well cleared down the man needing to get himself up the order a little bit. PA, he won't be too disappointed with that, but I think he's on actually an in-lap here. But down the man, not impressing at the moment, not quite the qualifying performances we're used to seeing from him. Let's see who else is out there at the moment. Sam Hickey he's on a lap, but he's not really improving. Mr. Chiapelli has invalidated, so he will not be improving. ELT Jordan, known for his good qualifying performances, currently behind his teammate in P12. What can Jordan do in this session then? What is his first sector going to be? Turn 4, so twitchy, and there you go, that's why. There goes Jordan. He's spun round, he should be able to keep going. He's only lost the front wing, but very lucky boy and not to DNF there. You can see how tight that turn 4 is and just how slidey it can be. No front wing at all for Jordan. That's Jordan now on a rush back to the pit lane to try and get one final run in this session. Matt Tibbos not looking good. He's invalidated yet again. Currently P14. We expect Matt Tibbos to be challenging for race wins and maybe the championship.
To go out now.
But not at the moment. It's not looking too good for him, is it?
Let's make sure we can get the 2 runs in first go out now in case we bottle one.
Who the poon?
Who the poon? Let me out, Ben. Let me out!
Aiden asking
stuck in the pit lane.
Aiden asking his engineer to let him out.
Oh, 2 team at Mardix, fuck me, the end of the world. What?
Let's see who is out there on laps at the moment. Mr. Chiapelli might well be on one. The Mercedes driver has the edge over his teammate at the moment. Cena down in P16. Paul currently 18th quickest. Kieran yet to set a lap at the back, 19th. And of course CJH unable to join the session as things stand. Let's hope he can get in for a full race around Portugal. Mr. Chiapelli goes 8th. Finds a bit of time. Finds 2:10s almost. And goes back ahead of Dan and Sam. Mr. Chiapelli, what a lap. Is that your qualifying done though now?
No. If I can get in quick enough.
Okay, so Luca hopes to go again then. He might get one more.
Plan B.
Might get one more time.
Separating 3rd to 9.
It is very close, isn't it, down from 3rd to 9th. If Dan can just find that couple of tenths, he goes right onto the 2nd row. And now let's turn our attentions to the Red Bull drivers. You can see there's going to be some sort of tow going on here. Alistair right behind his older, more attractive brother. Aidan Griffin's currently P3 in the session. Alistair P6. Okay, so Luca's not going to make it there. He's not timed it right. Let's see then how these final couple of sessions go. Of course, Aidan was meant to be teammates with Jack Hickman this season, reigning Constructors champions, but a late switch for Aidan to go with his brother and Jack to go with his brother means that Alistair and Aidan are going to be teammates for this season. 2 minutes to go. They could get 2 laps in here, depending on how they want to take it. But let's see how they get on. Aidan Griffin's currently P3. Can he find the 4 tenths he needs to go provisional pole? We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. I think that's a Has getting out of the way of an Alpine. And speaking of Alpine, I think caught. Caught.
What?
He will be making the hop to Putman tonight because he's round and that could be his last
back off
session.
Again.
Alistair then. What's happening, Dan? What's happening?
Just been given a 5 place penalty because I was slowing down in the pit lane and Jordan hit me.
Well, these things happen in Formula 1, unfortunately. Aidan's backed out of his lap too, so he will not be going this time round. Getting out of the way of the other cars. Jake spun it down in P4. All sorts of incidents going on now. Jack Hickman is finding time, currently P5. We said how tight it was between 3rd down to 9th. Well, down to 11th, really. If Roy or Sam can find a bit of time, they could also. But I say that, Sam, of course, is out of the session. He's disconnected, so he will not be setting another lap time. Jack Hickey, what can he do?
Phil Bargewell. Or do you want to go alone?
Phil Bargewell, P5. That's a good lap time from him.
Hope the fucking Putin.
Where can Jack Hickey go across the line? The Aston Martin goes 3rd. Displaces Aidan a position down to 4th. Aidan is going to go again. These drivers now all trying to get a gap to each other.
Let's go.
The two Red Bulls should be safe. They'll have enough time to get through. But let's now turn to drivers currently out there that could take pole position. Cliffy has started his lap. He knows the gap he needs to find. Half a tenth if he's to take pole position number 2 of the season. Let's see what his first sector is. He crosses the line now, and he is 0.03 of a second up. He's up, but not by much, but it could be enough, depending on what Glock can do further ahead of him, further behind on the race circuit. Matt Tibbles also out there. He's improving to a quick first sector for the Alfa Romeo, so Matt Tibbles is one to watch as well. In fact, let's switch to Matt Tibbles. He is slightly ahead on the road. In fact, no, he's invalidated. Matt Tibbles has done it again, so he will start no higher than 14th position. That is not what he needed for this race. So it's back to the battle of Glock and Cliffy for what seems to be the fight for pole position. These two, the standout drivers so far this season, and Cliffy finds another 0.03 of a second in the middle sector. That means he's 6 thousandths up now with just the final couple of corners to go. If he can time this right, if he saved a bit of hers, he could well snatch pole position. He spun round. The Williams driver pushing too hard. He had to push to find the time, but he spun himself round and will not be improving. So over to Glock then now. Glock's invalidated. He will not be improving. Aidan Griffins, what can he do? He's finding 0.2 of a second in the middle sector. This could be P2. It could even be P1. If Aidan Griffins can find the time that he's finding at the moment as Jack Hickey third, down the man into 5th. What can Aidan do? The Red Bull driver to the line, the inside, the quickest route. He goes 3rd.
Oh, fuck.
So close.
Again, for fuck's sake.
Alistair will start 9th, Luca down in 10th, so he won't get clean tyres at the moment unless Jack Pearson or Kieran, the McLarens, can displace him. The Ferrari of Jake is the last driver, I think, on a timed lap. He goes 5th. Jack Hickey returns to the pit lane, and that will be qualifying done, unless the McLarens can spring a real surprise. Kieran did have the world record time around Austria, but he's the 17th quickest driver in the TGB1 Portuguese Grand Prix. Jack Pearson, the last car across the line. He will not be doing anything special with that. And P15.
Just keep it clean.
Top McLaren.
I went purple twice in the first sector.
So I start 11th, but obviously I can't have free tyre choice because of the penalty. Brilliant. Cheers for that, Jordan. Thanks.
Well then, here is our grid for the race. It's Glock and Cliffy on the front row. Look at the gap, it was just half a tenth. Jack Pearson is saying he's going to go, but he's not actually going, which is typical of Jack Pearson. Aidan Griffins and Jack Hickey on the second row. Former teammates, JD and Down the Man 5th and 6th. Phil and Jonas 7th and 8th. Alistair and Luca completing that top 10, but of course Down the Man drops to 11th with that grid drop. Sam Hickey, Javel Manatee, Jordan and Tibbons are the top 14 in qualifying. Well then, the first ever Portuguese Grand Prix is about to take place. We are expecting possible rain as well. 22% chance that we could see some sort of rain during the race. How do you like them odds? 1 in 5 chance of rain. It could be changeable conditions, but it does start a dry race, although there's some crazy effects going on in the windows. At the very top, you might be able to see on the pits. What's that? What's going on there? Looks like the garage windows are pixelating. I wonder if that's a sign of some rain coming a little later on.
Oh shit, yeah, that's a possibility, isn't it? Fuck.
You can see Mercedes already got a front wing prepared for one of Luca or Cena. They aren't confident of their drivers. And that's quite cool, as Luca must have changed his tyres on the garage, on the grid, his garage tyres changed as well. That was quite interesting. But here we go then, the first ever league race around the Portuguese circuit. This is TGP1, round 3 of the season. And we are racing. What can Cliffy do off the line this time? We got a great start last week in both races and already trying to drag Glock down into turn 1. Look how wide this circuit is. Everyone clearly through so far. The Red Bull of Aiden going racing side by side. He's jumped Jack Hickey. He's P3. Jay Davis 5th. John is into 6th already. A fantastic start from him. Phil has dropped a few places down to 8th, but it's Glock who got the important start and leads Cliffy by 2/10 here on the opening lap. Aidan Griffin's looking to get close to ERT Cliffy, but it's been a clean start from everyone apart from Paul, who's at the back, spun round and may have to get back to the pits for a new front wing. Alistair and Luca going side by side. And then Phil Bardwell and Down the Man tagging, banging wheels there in the battle for P9 and P10. Phil Bardwell goes round the outside. Down the Man, of course, having to work his way up through the field again. After that 5-place grid drop, Down the Man is lagging. Let's go off Down the Man. Let's go on to someone else, because Down the Man is all over the place on my screen. Mr. Chiapelli going side by side with Phil Bardwell Is he going to make it stick? That'll be some move if he does. The Mercedes driver is through, is he? They're still side by side. These two giving us some great racing in the battle for P8 and P9. And Mr. Chiapelli might just have it unless Phil can come back up the inside, which he does. They're still side by side. They have been now for about 4 or 5 corners. Some fantastic racing here. Of course, fighting for 9th position and 8th at the moment. Glock, the fastest lap. 7/10 clear of Cliffy. Aidan Griffins a further second back. And now can Luca get Phil down into turn 1? Phil celebrating his 200th race at Monaco. This is 199th. Luca getting very close. This is the best battle on track at the moment. Jake is also catching Jonas. I think Joe Manatee might be battling down the man's Wi-Fi at the moment.
Yep.
Jake Davis, good result. This would be for him if he can finish in P6. You can see him all over the back of Jonas. We've still got Sam Hickey and Luca fighting very closely for 9th and 10th. Expect to see those two former TGB2 race winners as Jonas almost loses the back end of that Haas. And this is going to give Jake a glorious chance to get through into the top 5. I thought for a moment there Jonas was about to spin round and end his race very early, very prematurely. But thankfully for Jonas, he's still going, and that's a bad line from him. Now can the Ferrari go around the outside to take that position? Jonas will defend, but that gives Jake the inside for the next line, and it's a beautiful move up the inside from the Ferrari driver. Jonas still there, though, still they're side by side, and Jonas will come straight back. Had some brilliant race at this circuit, producing the goods already. 2 laps in, and we've seen so many battles as now Jake goes back up the inside of Jonas. They bang wheels, and Jonas is now out of shape, which could allow Alistair to go through and take P7. This is some brilliant racing. We could see 3 cars side by side as Phil tries to join in on the battle a little further back. DRS is enabled. We've seen Alistair now go into P6, the Ferrari driver. Jake is into that top 5 of Alistair ahead of Jonas, and Phil right behind.
Good job, Alistair. Good job.
Oh, Jonas tags the back of Alistair. Would have scared him a little bit there. The Scot able to hold on to the position though, and now Phil's going to come straight at Jonas. He'll go to the left.
Fucking rear grip.
Jonas struggling to grip so far early in this race, and you can see now Phil up the inside. And what is Phil doing there? Phil forgot to have brakes. And that's not Phil's best race in there. He did a dive bombed Alistair. Almost took out Alistair, but instead took out Luca, and I think maybe Jonas instead. So not quite sure what happened to Phil there, but not his best overtake, I have to say.
Okay, damn.
You got damage?
I think our lag stopped.
Yeah, I know, it has.
Alistair thankfully unscathed from that, but Mr. Chiapelli won't be his best friend at the moment, down in P17 now. He was running very well, the Mercedes driver, but Phil Bargewell, not quite sure if he just missed his braking point or what, but he went down the inside of Alistair, pushed Alistair wide. Alistair thankfully, with his cool experience now, able to keep it in the right direction, and unfortunately for Luca, it was not the case. He spun round, had nowhere to go.
Get
Luca
after Jake, come on.
down in P17.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Caught round, and that might be an incident. We can see a yellow flag at the final sector as Phil going side by side with Sam Hickey round the outside. Can he get in there? He won't, but he'll go to the inside for the next corner. And as long as Aston Martin doesn't turn in too much, Phil Bargewell has spun himself round, and he's taken out the Aston Martin as well. Phil Bargewell is having a race to forget. What's he doing? He's taken out almost Alistair and Luca, and now
careful on that rejoin.
Luca did not want to spend another incident with Phil Bargewell. Phil Bargewell, of course, is an old man. Maybe he should retake his driving test. That's not what Phil Bargewell we're used to seeing from him. But he's not having the best race in now. P15, no points. Of course, the points down to the top 14. Jack Pearson, by the way, up to P10. Good start from him.
I just lost the back at the final corner, so weird.
So caught them. Both Alpines.
If you were running overtake, I wouldn't run overtake through that corner.
Oh, that might be.
Yeah, it's a death trap.
No safety car then. Also no sign of rain at the moment. The Alpine 17th and 18th. Not the best race for them so far. Paul currently P19. The most capped driver in TGP1 history. Dan the man just a race behind him. We'll be hoping Paul misses a week at some point to take that record from him. But out front, we've got Glock leading by half a second over Cliffy. These two already looking like they're going to be the drivers fighting for the title. They've got a winner piece, and now they're leading the way here. 3 seconds clear of the rest of the field at the moment. We've got to be careful not to get involved in any sort of incident here. We can see in the background we've got ERT Jordan and Jovial Manatee fighting for position. Jack Pearson looking to get involved too. Will Jovial Manatee let his teammate go? Of course, Jovial Manatee on the slower of the 2 tyre compounds. You can see that Manatee, Matt Tibbos, Dan the Man, Phil and Paul all on the mediums. The rest of the drivers all on the soft tyres. And a great start it was from Jack Pearson. You can see 5 places gained. Cena likewise up into P11.
Cannot shake Hickey, man.
Well, Cliffy hangs on to Glock 5 tenths the difference. You can see Jack Hickey just 4 tenths behind his former teammate. Some beautiful shots here at Portimao. Glock leading from Cliffy. Aiden holding on to third. Will we see drivers starting to pit very shortly? Pulls in. He's going to serve his first stop of the race. We've got a yellow flag in the third sector. I think it's a McLaren. Jack Pearson was running so well. He was P10. Is that going to be a safety car? Because Glock and Cliffy have just passed the pit lane. In fact, the top 4 have all gone past the pit lane. So if it is... In fact, no, it won't be, because Paul, of course, is in the pit, so he'll be fine. Cliffy going to go round the... Jack Hickey round the outside of Aidan Griffins. These two fighting for the final spot on the podium as things stand. And Cliffy has dropped back a second from Glock, so I'm not sure if he's made a mistake somewhere. But Glock's now pulled that advantage to almost 2 seconds. Down the man with a new fastest lap of this race. The new medium tyres doing him wonders at the moment. A 1:18.5. Of course, the bonus point will go with that, providing he's in the top 14. The top 14 this season, all scoring points. There's an Alpine further back who's had a spin, and I think it might be caught, is it? Or is it down the man?
Yeah, there was caught, but there's a Ferrari as well there.
Yeah, Paul was going really slow and it just put me off.
Cliffy's got a penalty.
Cliffy has got a penalty, not what he needs. That's going to put him 3 seconds further back. It's so easy to get here. I'm surprised we've only seen 2 get penalties so far.
I think Tibos has got damage here.
But that might also have handed the win to Glock as things stand. We'll leave these two come into the pits this time round. Yes, we see Glock dive into the pit lane. Aidan Griffins and Jack Hickey, what are they going to do? They both stay out, both waiting for the right time to make their stop. A lot of the drivers believing it's way too early to make that call. Will any of the AlphaTauris come in? Indeed they do. Jordan's going to come into the pit stop to serve and get a new set of medium tyres, and we can see Matt Tibos. He's got Luca behind him. He's got Cena in front of him. He's in a Mercedes sandwich.
Alistair, I'm pitting this lap. I need to cover Hickey.
Doesn't look like Matt Tibos has any sort of damage. Maybe he's just struggling out there. Didn't have the great qualifying. Having to start on the medium tyres as a result. He should come back into this later on in the race. You can see already Cena harvesting. That Mercedes has used large parts of his ears as Matt Tibos goes round the outside. If he can get that stuck, it'll be a fine move. You can see his brakes heating, but he's got to be careful because Luca, Mr. Chiapelli, is also right there with him. Some great racing here. Matt Tibos, of course, a former 2-time TGB1 champion. Mr. Chiapelli, a former 2-time TGB2 champion. And you can see Cena holding up these drivers, and Mr. Chiapelli round the outside. Thank you very much. Into P9 he goes. That was some move from Mr. Chiapelli. He very much is. Top Manx man. He almost banged wheels with his teammate. They get ever so close. Look at this. I think Tao Wolf's going to be holding his breath at the moment. Cena and Mr. Chiapelli takes 2 cars in 2 corners. Well, that was brilliant. And Matt Tibos drops another place. Sam Hickey now into the top 10. So Matt Tibos not having the best race. But we're seeing some more drivers into the pit lane now. Aidan Griffins comes in. Let's see where he is in comparison to Glock, who's made his stop. Glock is in traffic. He'll want to clear Kieran as soon as he possibly can. But in front of him, there's a good gap to the rest of the field further ahead. Kieran does stay out. Let's see how hard of a job it is for the Haas driver. Looks pretty easy. To the inside. DRS acceleration. And the Haas driver back into P8, the net leader. Looking good at the moment. Sam Hickey is now right on Cena. Mr. Chiapelli came into the pits. He made that double overtake. Fantastic. But straight into the pits. He's now behind ERT Jordan, but ahead, crucially, of Phil Bardwell, who had the early incident with Cena, now defending from the second Aston Martin of Sam Hickey. Both Hickeys yet to pit, and they're both on soft tyres. So they're not going to want to stay out too much longer, or they will mess each other's races over. You can see Matt Tibos right behind these two. He didn't really fight Sam Hickey that much, sort of let him go.
Oh, keys off.
Didn't want to get involved, and it looks like Kieran's round. He's going to be outside of the top 10 now. The same corner where he spun a few laps to go. The second Haas of Jonas and Dan the Man will take that position, you suspect. Let's look at this great 3-car fight for P5, 6 and 7. Cena, Sam Hickey and Matt Tibos, TTG Tibos. All fighting here for that top 5 position. But of course, all 3 drivers still yet to pit. The top 3 have come into the pit lane, as have Sam Hickey, who's picked up a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Let's see then where Jack Hickey can come out with Aidan Griffins. Aidan Griffins coming down the start-finish straight now. It's going to be very close between them. Jack Hickey himself only about a second behind Cliffy. Here comes the Red Bull driver, and here comes the Aston Martin. Who's going to get it? Looks like it's going to be Jack Hickey, but Aidan's going to be right there with him round the outside, and Jack Hickey spun round. I don't know if there was contact. I didn't see any contact. Maybe he just spun it on the curb, but the Aston Martin is round into P10, and he's dropped down the order. So that's not what he needed for his race, but Aidan Griffin's now looking good for a potential P3 and maybe a P2 if he can get within 3 seconds of Cliffy. 2 cars.
Alistair, good
Kieran,
chance here if you can catch that Ferrari.
Kieran and Jordan fighting over 11th and 12th. Different strategies. How brave is Jordan going to be? Thought about it. Almost going for it. In fact, he is going to get it. Fantastic stuff from the AlphaTauri. Up into P11. His teammate leads the race at the moment, but is still yet to pit. Matt Tibbles, P2. Glock, 3rd. Looking good for this race win. He has a 2.5 second lead over his nearest rival, ERT Cliffy. Let's see who else is out there at the moment fighting for positions. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. It is the second Mercedes of Cena. He's spun himself round already. 3 drivers have done that this race so far.
Tyres have gone off the cliff here.
Yeah, Mr. Chiapelli, you can see, is all over the McLaren. Top McLaren at the moment, with Jack Pearson down in 17th. Kieran really struggling. You can see how slidey he is on those very old soft tyres. 10 lap old soft tyres. Sam Hickey picks up a time penalty, which is good news for Phil Bardwell. Mr. Chiapelli now joins that list of time penalties. Let's see if Sam Hickey can get back through on Phil Bardwell in his 199th league race. While Mr. Chiapelli goes side by side with Kieran and up into P12. It's going to be Sam Hickey up into P14, the final points position. Phil demoted to 15th.
Cena's back in the pits.
So it's very rare we get to see some screen time here of Jovial Manatee. Looking good at the moment. He'll be hoping for some sort of safety car or virtual safety car to get himself a free pit stop, but unlikely at the moment. Matt Tibbles just 7/10 behind, finally in some sort of clean air, able to sort of set the times we're used to seeing from him. He's going to drop a long way back there, I suspect, around sort of 11th to 12th when he makes that stop, but of course will be on the faster tyres for the final 7 laps. So Jovial Manatee, TTG Tibbles, both staying out for 1 extra run. They will only do, I think, 6 laps in the end on those soft tyres. Let's see if Manatee can hold back Tibbles. Should be pretty safe into turn 1. The gap just 2/10 now, but with DRS zone number 2 coming up, a good chance for the Alfa Romeo to get through on the AlphaTauri. You can see how much quicker Matt Tibbles is. Jovial Manatee starting to slide. Maybe his tyres are starting to go off now. Matt Tibbles, with the advantage of DRS, will try to go the long way around. Not sure he's going to do it just there. Roy's smart. Roy, of course, a GT champion, a dirt champion, a TGV1 champion. He's won championships in 3 different fields. He knows how to race. He's got the experience, and for now holds on to this lead. This battle not really helping Matt Tibbles, but Matt Tibbles has no right to be let through. These two are fighting for position. They'll both make their stop soon for the softs, and that will hand the lead over to Glock, whose lead over Cliffy is 2 seconds, plus the further 3 for the time penalty.
Can you catch Jake? No. Well, you're in at 5th, so just hang on.
Both drivers have to pit now, surely. Jovial Manatee does just that, but Matt Tibbles wants to do one more on those medium tyres. A little bit surprised by that, but through he goes. Jovial Manatee back out in P12. Looks like he is ahead of Kieran. Kieran is battling with Sam Hickey for P13, P14, the final points positions. You can see Aidan starting to be hunted down now by Jake for P4 and P5. 4 cars on the track, very close together here. We've got Chiapelli, Jovial Manatee, Kieran, Sam Hickey, Phil Bardwell, all quite close together on the circuit. In fact, Chiapelli, and for now, about 3 seconds ahead of this quartet.
Oh, John.
Holy shit.
I think John might have had a moment there, by the sounds of it.
Don't know how I saved that. No. Oh, no warning, that's good.
Sam Hickey has 1 point at the moment, but with his time penalty would drop behind Phil Bardwell, so he needs to find that place over Kieran if he's to score points in this race. Kieran yet to score a point this season. Sam Hickey did get a couple last time out. Phil Bardwell needs to be careful. He's tagged the back of the Aston Martin again. Phil Bardwell very, very aggressive today. Very impatient. Phil Bardwell, thankfully no damage done. Sam Hickey holds on to P14 for now. We've got ERT Jordan and Mr. Chiapelli fighting for that top 10. Mr. Chiapelli, I've got to say, this is his second stint in TGP1 and already doing much better than his previous one. Mr. Chiapelli showing some real class this season. We saw a double move earlier on, and this, of course, includes his incident earlier on in the race where he spun round, lost several seconds. Jonas and Dan the Man are fighting for 7th and 8th meanwhile, and behind them they've got Jack Hickey recovering through the field after his earlier spin. So lots going on around this circuit. Fast as that is Glock at the moment. Matt Tibble's still yet to make his pit stop. It's going to be the perfect 26 points for Glock. Pole winning fastest lap.
Alistair, have you got the battery?
Yeah, I've got a decent amount.
Try for the flap.
Well, Jonas was trying to get back through on Dan,
Don't
but instead
risk penalties though.
Instead, he's now trying to defend from the lead Aston Martin. Jack Hickey, P9. Sam Hickey now down to 15th, not scoring points at the moment. Phil Bardwell has gained 2 places in the background, up to P13. Will now look to hunt down the 2 Alpha Tauris. But here comes Jack Hickey. He'll want to get himself at least into the top 6. Alistair has a 2-second advantage over Dan the Man, who is now starting to hunt him down with full laps to go. And there goes Jack Hickey on the inside of Jonas, through on the Haas driver, and takes that position number 8.
Position number 7, really, because I've still got a penalty.
Speaking of time penalties, Joe Manatee has joined that list. Yeah, Matt Tibble's yet to make his pit stop. Looks like he's just praying for a safety car or something, because he's not choosing to get those fresh soft tyres. Maybe he's just going to hope to finish the race without a pit stop and hope the game doesn't give him a penalty.
Still hasn't pitted?
No, he started on mediums.
So lots of close gaps then in this race still. We've got Jordan right on Mr. Chiapelli. Mr. Chiapelli not able to pull away like we thought he would. Jack Hickey is all over down the man. Both drivers having cleared the hazard Jonas. Now racing each other for P7. Alistair Bain will be happy to see Dan has that time penalty. He'll want Dan to keep Jack Hickey back for as long as possible, because he suspects as soon as Aston Martin gets through, he will start to hunt down that second Red Bull. Aiden looking okay for now in third, but he'll still be cautious of the Ferrari behind as Matt Tibbos finally dives into the pit lane to get those soft tyres for the final few laps. Where will he come out in relation to the cars he is expecting to fight? I suspect it's going to be around 11th or 12th. Jack is going to get down the man in the inside into turn 1. They're side by side, still side by side. Fantastic race between these two. Jack Hickey almost ahead, now is ahead. Dan the Man is going to come straight back up the inside. They continue their fight into the second sector. Dan the Man looking to get through again on the Aston Martin. He knows he's got the time penalty, but he will want that position to try and hold on. He can't afford, as you can see, Jonas joins the fight in Jack Hickey. Fantastic racecraft there to take the position into P6, and now he can start to hunt down that 3-second gap he has at the moment to Alistair. Unless Dan the Man can come straight back at him, he won't do that. The Alpine unable to get close enough to make the move.
Lost it again.
John is almost losing it. Mr. Chiapelli like the sound of that. He's 3.5 seconds adrift. Phil Bardwell is in the points. Jack Pearson, Kieran and Court just outside of it. And you can see Matt Tibbles has rejoined ahead of Joe Manatee, so despite staying out longer, and Roy with the fresher tyres is behind the Alfa Romeo. He's Dan the Man almost starting to lose it himself.
Overtaking coming here, Dom.
Matt Tibbos has closed on Jordan and Mr. Chiapelli. Jordan himself is going to try and get through on the Mercedes. Luca now up to P9 with Matt Tibbos making that stop. But Matt Tibbos is coming straight back at these two. You can see Luca unable to defend from the Alpha Tauri. That straight line speed, the extra ERS and the DRS. Enough for the Jordan to get through. And he spun himself round straight away. He'd got through into 9th, but he spun round. And that's beautiful reading for Mr. Chiapelli and Tibbos, who both go through. Manatee and Phil and Sam also pick up places, and if Jack was close enough he would have got the final point, but he's 25 seconds adrift. That's not what he wanted, but now Mr. Chiavelli loses the place anyway, because Matt Tibble's on those
Cliffy might not even finish on the podium here.
Much fresher, softer tyres, goes through Olnuka and into P9, and we go back up to the battle for P2, 3 and 4. Not what Cliffy needs. He's only 2.8 clear of Jake Davis in 4th, who would get the podium over the T-Dog, as he calls him. Two friends, we think anyway. Jake himself could get second. It's looking pretty safe for Glock, isn't it, as he starts his final lap of the race. He's got a 2.5 second advantage over Cliffy, who's trying to pull the gap on Aiden and Jake to make sure he ends on the podium. I don't think he's going to get second. Aiden's looking pretty good for that. He's in for a good treat tonight from the missus, if he can hold on.
Get in there, Aiden.
I mean, he might be getting a treat now for all we know. Let's not think about it. Aiden Griffin's looking good to try and get position 2 from Cliffy, and Jake also hanging on in there, but the gap is 2.8 between second to fourth now. Aiden a little sliding out there. It's just a chance for Jake to get through and take what would become a net P2. Of course, these two fine could allow Cliffy to pull the gap. They're going to go side by side. Jake will have the outside line. Aiden will try to push him wide, but they're still together. They lock wheels. The Ferrari and Red Bull almost narrowly separated by millimetres, but it's the Ferrari that takes the position, and if Aiden can come back at him, it might not be over just yet. But Jake into P3. The gap is now 2.6 to Cliffy. Didn't lose as much time as I thought they would, but Aiden's got to make sure he is within 3 seconds of the Williams driver. Aiden's starting to lag a little bit now, quite scarily. I hope he's not going to disconnect. He's all over the place. But Jake for now has P3. He's 2.8 off Cliffy. Can he get that gap under 3 seconds to win this race? But Glock now, it's been some result from him, hasn't it? He's going to take his second victory, and it's going to be the first ever league winner at Portimao. He takes the win, but Cliffy, what can he do? Is Drake going to be close enough? He needs to be within 3 seconds. The Ferrari driver to the line, takes it, and Aiden just misses out on the podium. He's not going to get it. Dan the man is not going to get Jack Hickey, but of course he has a time penalty. So Jonas himself goes up into P7.
It's going to be close with Matt. Oh, he's got a penalty.
Tibbos had a penalty too, but he did get the fastest lap. Phil Barger will recover to P12.
P11.
And well, I thought maybe Aiden was going to get a treat tonight from the missus, but I think instead the missus is going to be slapping him around the face. He can't quite believe what has happened.
Maybe he likes that.
Maybe he does. It's Aiden Elso, 4th and 5th, with Jack Hickey recovering to position number 6.
I just don't know what happened.
I'll remember it save your races after the standings.
Attack.
Oh, that's fucking annoying to miss out on the podium on the last lap, man. Fuck's sake. I had to have that little slide at the top of the hill on the last lap, didn't I?
It was really annoying because Jordan spun in front of me after turn 1, and then I had to stop because it didn't ghost the car, and then Tibbos came round.
I really hope I didn't hit Hickey. I don't think, because I mean, I almost went off the circuit, so we had more than enough room on the apex. I hope.
Matt Tibbos, driver of the day.
I don't fancy hitting with.
Gained 8 places. He took fastest lap, but only scored 6 points for the race. This man, it's his second win of the season. The first at Portimao. It's Glock at the front, and Jake, what a result for him. P2. We're seeing the old Jake, the Welshman, P2 ahead of Cliffy. Aiden unfortunate to miss out in the end, but he might still take that P4 and P5 Red Bull, scoring a good haul of points for the team.
I think we'll take that for the constructors there, Haas.
Oh, I'm glad I picked it early because it sort of saved my race. I'm glad I realised yesterday that the medium tyres could last quite a while.
I don't know what it is with me and medium tyres, but I just cannot get performance out of them. I just struggle.
There was absolutely zero advantage in the overcut or the undercut.
Dan, you know that little moment
well, I mean, I picked really early and gained a load of positions.
That little moment I had in front of you, Dan, it was because of that you and Jack get past me, because I was basically sticking within Alistair's DRS range, and as soon as I did that I fell out, and then I was just a sitting duck.
You seemed dead quick in the first sector.
Yeah, it was
Probably
just
because of the DRS, I suppose.
Probably because of the DRS. It's the second and third sectors in particular are struggling. Especially that fucking uphill one. I was just three or four times the back end stepped out and I managed to save it, so...
Oh, Young Boys has beaten United. 2-1.
Did they?
Oh my
Ronaldo
god.
spanked by Young Boys.
Let's score in the last minute.
That is wonderful.
In the 5th minute of extra time.
Oh my god. Oh. Inject.
So they've lost it in Fergie time.
Inject.
Are we setting up a second lobby to get Leclerc in, or what?
Yeah, if you can't join, let's do it. If not, I don't know. What's he said? Can he join? I'll be back in a minute. I'm gonna get some food.
He's still gonna join. Oh, basically Lingard messed up a pass back, and one of the Young players got to the ball and put it in the net. And Lingard was subbed on in place of Ronaldo. Oh dear.
Right, okay, new lobby, so let's get that set up.
Lord.
Seeing the don't choose car.
Here we go then, it's time for the second race of the evening, the Monaco Grand Prix. This has, well, the promise to give anything really. Monte Carlo, what to expect. So easy to end your race on this tight, twisty circuit. What can our drivers get up to here then? Around this beautiful circuit.
This right.
Please don't rain, please don't rain, please don't rain. Feels like every time I do quali around the NTGP.
It's like Alistair, Cena and Glock may have disconnected.
Great, 2 seconds.
Alistair!
Well, the F1 servers have, looks like...
Okay, there's Glock, Glock's ticked, Alistair's ticked.
And that, there we go.
They must
F1 servers may have gone down.
Hoogtepunten.
Hoogtepunten.
Oh, yeah, hard to put.
Cedar needs to kind of make a cut.
Work.
We get food.
Oh, here we go,
Oh,
we've got
yeah.
a timer.
Fucking hell, that's ridiculous.
The F1 game got impatient with them.
Well, if I was... if this was a PSGL race and I was someone else, I might be shouting right now. But I'm not. I'm chilled. I've got a cup of tea next to me.
It's dry as anything.
Terry's chocolate orange, and it's time for a superb race around Monte Carlo. We've got 3 drivers not in the lobby at the moment because, of course, they're unable to connect to the lobby. But we're expecting a dry qualifying, a dry race. Let's see who is first out on track. Of course, lap time is going to be crucial here. Need to make sure you get a good qualifying position. And we can see already drivers starting to lead the pit lane. We've got McLaren preparing. We've got Aston Martin preparing.
Anyone got a setup?
Oh, the Aston Martin safety car for this race.
You've got a setup.
What do you mean? They haven't got a setup?
Bit late for that, isn't it?
It was a whale weekend, actually.
Oh, I think I've jumped the Alpines on the pit exit.
I'm appearing online, I'm thinking. I should be.
Oh, it's got dry fuel, so this can be a long run.
Oh, back in our TGP1 race with Jack at Monaco. Right.
No, if you open your eyes when I pulled over
time.
to... Well, if you open your eyes when I'm on the side, it might be useful.
If you weren't a retard and sat on the apex of a corner to like...
Right, anyway, qualifying then for the Monaco Grand Prix.
We apologise for Trudy and Sitil there.
Yep.
I'd like to need to review the sausage.
Of course, we could see the first ever Aston Martin safety car. Monte Carlo, you sort of expect we might see one at some point. But then again, Monaco last season, don't think we saw a single safety car. It was either TGP1 or TGP2, I can't quite remember, but there was no safety car at all. To everyone's surprise.
There seems to be more grip in multiplayer than time trial. Is that right?
Yes.
Sorry, Kurt, got a couple of cars in front.
Oh my fucking god, what the heck? Oh, the hootin' hunt.
Oh, Matt Tibbons has lost it already. You can see. Then Rory's trying to get out of the way. Matt Tibbons, I don't know what happened to his car, but lost the back end and then almost straight into the barriers. He might have just slightly touched it, but he's okay. The Aston Alfa Romeo, I'll get there one day. The Alfa Romeo now already sort of abandoned his first lap and will try to go again. Let's see who else is out there. Court looking good in the Alpine. He's going to have his teammates behind him.
Yeah, I'm catching up to it.
Court got, I think, a top 5 here once in TGP1. It was a very good result from him.
Wow,
I think we're going to see...
I won one, so I got pole position
Wow,
as well.
there you go. Probably in TGP2 though.
No,
that was TGP1. It was my win.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Johnny.
it was my win. Shut up.
Matt Tibbons.
Yeah, good one from me. That one.
Tibbons will complete the lap.
I mean,
So we got
I'm
Haas
good
in
again,
trouble.
so...
He goes to 1:14.5. We don't expect that to be the fastest time. Aiden Awards 12.5, 2 seconds quicker. Sam Hickey, a further 1.5 ahead. It's now time to start to tumble. 109.9 for Cliffy. John is into third, 111. What can Court set? He doesn't challenge anyone really. Down the man, next across the line in the second Alpine. This is not going to be a quick time from him. Looks like he's backed off in the final sector. Only P7 for him. Jovial Manatee's on a lap. Jack Hickey on his first time lap. Jack Pearson already back into the pit lane. This is Phil Bardwell's 200th race in TGP1. Where can he go in his first time lap? At 1:09.9 is the time to beat, and he goes second. It's a Williams 1-2 as things stand. How long for though? Glock looks like he may have backed down in this lap, going very slowly. Doesn't appear to have any damage. Maybe he's going to start a second time lap. No, he's back into the pit lane. So Glock then, championship leader.
Yeah.
At the back at the moment.
Thanks. Cheers.
Jack Hickey
Glock 3000.
didn't get the best race last time out. Finished P6 and goes second here. 2 tenths adrift of Cliffy, who's quickest at the moment on a 1:09.9. Good lap time from Hickey. Tibbos into P4 with his second time lap. Jovial Manatee's about to cross the line. Where can he go? He crosses the line to only go 11th outside of that top 10. Not what he needed. Down the man's improvement. This should be a much more competitive lap time than we saw the previous lap. He's going quick round the final corner. Where can he go? Can he get himself into the front 3 rows? He goes second, a 1:10.1, just a thousandth of a second. Clear of Jack Hickey. That's a good lap time from Dan the man. Of course, Dan at Monaco last time out sort of gave away an easy win when he chose to pit for a second time because he thought that new tyres was better than track position at Monaco, which to his surprise was not the case.
I've managed to invalidate a lap at the hairpin.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you can't cut across the curb.
Martin Diver once managed to DNF at that hairpin.
At 27 miles an hour.
At 27 miles an hour. Don't think we'll be forgetting that one anytime soon. Court looking to go again, I think, maybe. Let's see what the top Dutchman in TGP can do. The lesser famous Gillison.
That funny looking.
Oh, Court! Ah, that's why he's a less famous Gillison. Isaac doesn't make those mistakes. Court does. He'll now be back into the pit lane, and bad news for him, as I think he might have his teammate in front of him to be behind in the pit lane. But Dunnerman stayed out, so he's okay. Dunnerman crosses the line. He's not going to improve, is he? No. He's going to go again, though, on that new set of soft tyres. Where is Glock out there? Glock's on his outlap, still yet to set a competitive lap time. Only 11 minutes to go in this session. He will have 2 or 3 more chances, depending on how quick and how smooth he is. Phil Bardwell going again at the moment. P4, 6 tenths to find. But I think he might be coming into the pits. Indeed he is. So P4 at the moment for him. John is not doing anything special at the moment. Jordan has gone into P8. Good lap time. Alistair Bain, he'll be happy with his 5th place finish at Portugal. But he'll be looking to go maybe 1 or 2 better. Take that podium in TGP1. It's been a smooth lap so far from the Red Bull. His teammate only 9th at the moment. Not a quick lap time. But Alistair looking much better so far. Into the final sector.
Can we end the session now as a 200 for S3, please?
Unfortunately, we've already bought you a cake, and the cake is still on the way as Alistair goes into 4th. Phil is demoted to 5th, demoted to the 3rd row. But I'm sure Phil has a bit more time to find, and Phil is again a thousandth of a second off Alistair. So Jack Hickey a thousandth off Dan, and Phil a thousandth off Alistair. Pretty tight out there.
Is this cake like my 5 Dom?
No. Of course, Phil Bardwell somehow won a dirt championship once. We don't know how, but we believe there was an agreement made pre-season between all the drivers to let Phil win as part of some sort of celebration. So Phil Bardwell was gifted the win.
You're having that wrong. We did it for you.
Anyway, Glock coming around the final corner. Can he set the new fastest time? 1:09.9 to beat. He only goes 6th. Very surprising. So we're not seeing the championship leader spring in too many surprises. And I'm hearing news from the stewards that Court is going to be disqualified from the race. He's not going to be allowed to race. I'm not quite sure what the reason for that is. Sounds very harsh.
Honestly.
We've got Jordan out there on the medium tyres, not wanting to start on the softs, and he's clipped the back of the car on the barrier. And that will not be a good lap time from him.
Horrendous barrier.
Well,
Done it twice already.
Why's the game?
Why am I not improving? I'm on softs.
This is one
Game
circuit
put 10 laps of fuel in the bastard.
more than any that you want to be as high up on the grid as possible, or maybe just right at the back as opposed to the midfield. Aidan Griffins is very much in that midfield at the moment. P11, and you can see the barrier sparking from Jordan's earlier collision. So it looks like he set a light to that barrier. Aidan Griffins didn't find time in the first sector, but he should surely find some more grip through the second. He has 3/10 quicker at the moment. This yellow flag in that middle sector. We'll keep an eye though on Aidan Griffins. Needs to get himself into the top 10, preferably into that top 6. You can see Court ahead of him. Court's not going to be improving. He's not very quick. Some would say, why is he even in TGB1? Well, I'm not quite sure, but here comes Aidan Griffins across the line. Only goes 8th, and that's not what he, or anyone I think, would like to see, as Glock goes 2 thousandths behind Phil. What is it with the tight gaps today? And Alistair just 26 thousandths behind Sam Hickey.
That's disappointing, that.
Down the man, P2, Jack Hickey third, Matt Tibbles looking good in fourth, but Cliffy across the line finds more time. It's now a 1:09.3. He is 8/10 quicker than anyone else, and not just that, his championship rival Glock is down in 8th position. It's not looking good for him at the moment. Is he on a quicker lap? He is. He's a 10th up, so he's finding time. He needs to find 1.2 seconds though, if he is to get right up there with Cliffy. Aidan Griffin sounds like he might have been involved in some sort of incident. Maybe he's tagged the barriers in that middle sector.
Yeah.
Manatee is out of the session, and yes, not what Glock needs to see. You can see, thankfully for him, that Manatee did ghost. That might well have put Glock off. Glock currently in P8, but he's again improving, and he's lost it again. He's hit the wall. He's somehow not DNF'd, but he's going to have to get back to the pit lane. He lets the cars through that were behind him. There's plenty. Matt Tibbles is about to come through. He's not on a lap though, but Glock down in P8. Very lucky not to crash, actually. He'll be counting his chickens with that one.
So, my car had terminal
What a lap.
damage, but it was completely intact.
Well,
Gearbox.
Joel Manatee looks like he's damaged that gearbox of his as Jack Hickey goes into second. Down the man very quickly goes ahead of him. A 10th off Cliffy. It's very tight now at the front. We've got Cliffy and Dan, a 10th between them. Jack Hickey just a 10th quicker than Phil, who's gone back onto the second row, and down the man. What happened? Can you find that extra 10th you need to get pole position?
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. Roy's car. That's what happened. It was sat there in the middle of the track.
Well, I've received a message from the soft cop. The soft cop.
Pole will be a 1:19.
The soft cop has reminded me that he actually dominated this race last season. It wasn't the one down the man won, or almost won from John. It was actually the one that Softy dominated. So it was 2 seasons ago. I do apologise, soft cop, for that blunder. Of course, Softy dominated it a while ago, as he has done many a time in TGP1.
Both cars in the points will be a good result, Alistair.
What was that?
Well, Phil opens a can of Coke.
Hold on.
As John has tagged that barrier. You can hear his team radio not very happy with that one. I've got a yellow flag in that final sector. Doesn't appear to be much Shono. Maybe there is a McLaren about to start their lap. I think Jack Pearson's about to start his first time lap
Ran over an Aston Martin
of the session. Unfortunately, Paul,
Oh, for fuck's sake!
EJH, and Phil in his 200th race, I think, has clipped the barrier. He'll have to get back to the pits if he is to get that front three starting position. As I said, 3 cars unfortunately weren't able to join the session. Some issues appearing to happen with the service tonight. It's a shame to see, but we're not PSGL. We're not going to cry about it. We're going to get on and race.
Is it absolutely ridiculous, Dom?
No, not really. I'm actually quite enjoying this. So it's Cliffy from Dan, Hickey from Phil Bargewell, and give me a minute, I'm going to get some Terry Stock oranges.
How the fuck
You
have
knew
I
that
gone
on
6th
PSGL.
like that? I literally broke my spine at Portier hitting the ball. I've gone slower than Kurt. Right.
With the second lap in a row.
If you're slower than Court, Jonas, I'd leave. I don't know
Dom
your timing.
already left, Jonas, as you can see, because he's commentating now.
Yeah.
Dom's already left.
You know, I really wanted Court.
Session's not over yet.
I really wanted Court to win TWGC next season, but you know what, Roy? I hope you win his 3rd championship.
Why thank you.
On the plus side, they might qualify a teammate for the first time.
Oh, how's that validated, man? Fuck off!
I've sped in the pits at Monaco.
Right, it's very easy to do.
I don't fucking know.
Oh, the wall. Fuck's sake, that's annoying.
Slow down, you fuck.
Cliffy is just ridiculous in the middle sector. Just ridiculous.
Oh, fucking hell.
Just, level
Must be caught in the corner.
It's just astonishing. Well, you can't, straight.
I'm joking. Cheers, Sean.
No! Oh, you fuck nugget. I was 8/10 off my lap and I bloody.
8/10 up would have brought you from 15th to 15th.
To 15th.
Yeah.
That sounds like a new problem.
I mean, I'm ahead of you, Roy, but you can be getting on the lights, so...
Just had to stop to let both pass cars go out ahead of me.
Bit of a hassle there, isn't it?
Jesus Christ.
I don't know why, because on my screen, Glock left a good 10 seconds before he did, because he left the garage and reappeared in the garage. Dan, I'm gonna let you go. No, but the time wise.
I don't. No,
it's fine.
Fine, okay.
So, a couple of minutes to go in this session.
Is that Red Bull on a lap? Red Bull on a lap coming through Midabel.
Dan the man starts flag again. Not what he needs going into his final run. So, a few comments from the section then. We've got Chris Johnson. He says, if Aiden thinks losing a podium on the last lap is bad, then he should try losing a championship in the last corner. Softy reminds us all that the King of Monaco is not here this season.
I didn't have to try and imagine losing the title at the last corner. I won mine.
And then Glock said this track is a joke on a pad. He's currently P11, so at least he gets a clean set of tyres for the race. Oh, Jake's in the wall. That's not what he needed on his final run. Might have damage as well, and he stays 14th.
If I'm not inside the top 10, I'm going to plan Z.
I'm already on plan Z.
More alphabet.
Cliffy invalidates, which is good news for Dan the man. He's about to start his lap to try and dismantle Cliffy. Dan is the man when it comes to qualifying. Matt Tibos goes third quickest in the Alfa Romeo. Please don't mind, I'm eating some Terry's chocolate oranges. Oh my god, they're good.
Alison, if you've not got damage, you'll get it back round.
Oh, well, that's come out into about 1 million of traffic to start my lap. Fuck's sake.
Glock is starting a new lap. Dan the man is on a new lap. Let's switch to Glock. He is going to be the first of those two to complete. He's a 10th up in the first sector. The spark still sparking from Jordan's earlier incident with the barriers. We're going to have to get a fire marshal out there, I think, at this rate. This is better from Glock. He's 3 tenths up. This is much better. Where can he go though? He needs to get himself ideally on the front 2 rows. To the line, the Haas driver, championship leader, only 5th. Dan the man has invalidated. Matt Tibos' session appears to be over. Cliffy is finding time out there. Jack Kickey also likewise. Glock is going again. Phil Bargewell might not be getting that dream qualifying result in his 200th race. Caught in the dizzy heights of P9. Cliffy, 109.2. Wow.
Fucked it. I fucked it. I tried going again from the lap and literally just lost it 10-1.
Glock finding more time. This is more like it. This could very well put him on the front row. If Dan's not going to find time, I suspect Glock might be displacing him to 3rd position because he's 4 tenths up. 4 tenths is what he needs to get P2. Down the man, holding on to P2 for now, but Glock to the line. Can he find that front row start? He doesn't. He goes third. Down the mine is not finding time. He's invalidated, so he hangs on to second just about. Tibos fourth, but Glock saves it at the end. And it's
for fuck's sake, Alistair.
I know, there's a huge crash in the tunnel. Schumacher Montoya-esque. Oh, the Alpine goes straight through the McLaren. Alistair and Jag with an incident. Sounds like the stewards might be looking at that one.
That's my retired car, Jack, and that's karma.
Well, no.
What's karma?
Well, yes, because Alistair's in the pits and I retired at the tunnel.
Why were you retiring at the tunnel when I'm on a lap?
Because you were nowhere near me.
Never retire on
in the
circuit.
TGT media pin.
Exactly.
Well, sounds like one for the stewards post-race.
Karma.
ERT Cliffy then.
Save last 30 seconds.
Pole position, down the man in second. It's Glock and Tibos third and fourth. Jack Hickey and Phil on that third row. Phil, his 200th race. Surely we're not going to see a Phil Bardwell win. It's Jordan and Sam on that fourth row of Court and Aiden, 9th and 10th. But of course, Aiden under investigation by the stewards. John is 11th, Alistair 12th. Mr. Cheap Ali and Jake, top 14. Glock saved it at the end, getting P3, but still almost 3.5 tenths adrift of his title rival. But Dan the Man can split the two, then Cliffy will take back. In fact, the championship will be very close because, of course, Cliffy finished third himself last time out in Portugal. So it would come down to fastest laps.
Well, this is going to be fun. Okay.
Jack Pearson, Joe Manatee and Cena, 15th, 16th and 17th.
I'd like to report to the stewards an incident that occurred during qualifying.
Fourth round of the season then. Monte Carlo. Anything can happen here. Absolutely.
And it usually does. Oh,
anything.
sorry.
And it usually does.
Check
Oh,
Snapchat quick.
shit.
Oh, hang on.
I delete it.
So, final preparations then.
Eyes.
Final preparations for this race. Can we see the championship gap reduced once again if Cliffy can take this victory? Cliffy's win last time out
What tires you on?
was his first win in 3 years.
Cool. Yeah, play the long game.
We're about to go racing then for the Monte Carlo Grand Prix. It's Cliffy and Dan on pole position. And, sorry, the front row. Lights out, away we go. Cliffy holds on to that lead for now, but already side by side with Dan. He takes P2, a superb start from the Haas driver. Just what he needed. Very clean into turn one, but it's Glock and Dan second and third. Dan slots in behind the Haas driver. You can see already side by side, and Dan retakes the position, does he? This is brilliant stuff. Dan side by side at Monaco. This shouldn't happen.
Oh, bloody
Dan
hell.
the Man second and third. Dan the Man's lagging a fair bit, so I don't know what of that Glock saw as Jack now tries to go down the inside of Dan.
Oh, come on, Jay.
That's not what he needed. That's not what he needed.
Oh, come on, man.
There's now
Stop.
and of course, people
What's
seem
going on?
to forget that
It's
you
the
do bunch
hairpin
up at the
Monaco.
hairpin. Seems like the lobby have forgotten that the hairpin does bunch up on the first lap.
Stop. No, you do to get the back.
You do on the first lap, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Hickey, P5.
Joke.
He's happy where he is.
How much was I lagging? I wasn't lagging at all.
You were on my screen. That's all I know. You were on my screen. Cliffy
Damage,
and Glock
Alistair.
leading the way at the moment. Glock already 2.5 seconds behind his teammate. Matt
You know
Tibbles
you're
already
fine, just go long.
with a time penalty. Dan all over Glock. This is helping. I think Cliffy's race actually having his title rival ahead of the rest of the field because it allows him to full clear already. A 1:14.7, not bad for a first lap. And Glock just about
I was
holding on.
like sliding about all over the place. That might have been where it was.
So in 4 races this season, I've been hit 3 times by Jake.
Well, it sounds like one for the stewards, Jonas. Of course, we've seen in the past Jonas's shout at people, but it turns out he was the one that was at fault, so we have to see what the footage shows afterwards. But ERT Cliffy leading the way, pulling further and further clear of Glock. Dan the Man might have had some sort of contact there. He's about to go side by side with Glock in the tunnel.
Whoa, Sim.
And are we going to see a move into the chicane? Dan the man breaks, they make contact. Glock sort of turned in, didn't really expect Dan to be there, and contact from the two of them. Glocks holds on to second, but the lead is 5 seconds in Cliffy's favour. If Cliffy throws this away, then I don't know what to say. But Dan the man, does he have damage? Oh no, it was his lag. Dan the man went straight on into the barriers, but unfortunately,
Glock hit the wall before the tunnel, and nearly lost her.
Okay. Maybe Glock didn't see the move from Dan, because Dan is all over the place. Let's go back further behind. Phil Barjol on Jack Hickey.
Oh, Tebos is in.
Tebos. Oh, Dan, don't speak. I don't need to hear you lagging on the stream. It's ERT Cliffy from Glock. Dan the man from Jack Hickey. Dan the man lagging a lot. I suspect he might be leaving the party very shortly. It's Phil and Jordan, 5th and 6th. Court and Alistair. Sam and Aiden. In the top 10, Mr. Chiapelli will be happy to be 11th still, despite forgetting that you have to be careful into the hairpin on the first lap. But he is ahead of his teammate, crucially.
Oh!
Diablos has a
No!
Aiden, I take it you're just taking it easy rather than just...
No, I'm just slow around here.
Oh, okay.
I always have been.
Glock's starting to get into some sort of groove now, not losing the time he was in the first couple of laps. He's only lost about half a second this time round, starting to finally get into a rhythm around this circuit. It's really difficult to do, but it's Cliffy from Glock, Dan the man and Jack Hickey 3rd and 4th, and you can see Matt Tibbles already down in 15th, not where he needed, but he has made his first stop, so could come back into this later in the race, especially if those in the midfield start racing each other. Sam Hickey looking to close on Alistair. Phil Bargewell running a well P5 at the moment in his celebratory 200th Grand Prix. No casualties in this race as of yet, only the 3 drivers that were unable to start due to some unfortunate server connection issues. There you can see just how close Sam is to Alistair, the 2 younger brothers of their teammates, almost pushing each other around, and Alistair just about holding on to PA, but even still he's ahead of his brother Aiden, back in 10th at the moment, who himself is under pressure from the Mercedes of Mr. Chiapelli. Javel Manatee is closing on Cena, 4/10 the difference there. And you can see once again, Alistair Bear, I don't think he has damage, but he really is struggling around here. Sam Hickey all over the back of the Red Bull.
He's on the mediums.
My tyres are fucked. Just lost 3/10 to Aiden there. The tyres wouldn't grip.
I was going to go board on Dan, but I forgot why I'd gone off him previously. So back to Jack Hickey on 4th. You can see ahead of him Dan and Glock fighting for position. All the top 7 on those soft tyres. As Aiden pointed out, Alistair on the mediums. After him, it's only really Roy and then the final 3 at the back that are on those tyres. So the soft runners looking good at the moment.
Second. Am I lagging for you?
I'm a bit too far behind to see.
Okay.
You sound alright.
Look like it.
Yeah, it sounds like Dan's fixed his internet.
Lagging on my screen. Nobody has been lagging on my screen.
You definitely are lagging. Well, you're not now. Cliffy, 8 seconds clear on the 5th lap. I think Softy's record around this circuit might be under threat from Cliffy. Well, I'm sure Softy will be very quick to point me out that he could go quicker.
Glock nearly lost it again.
I think he won by like, I don't know, it was a lot. Almost more than
5 in each of the 2.
I'm going for it.
Dan's going for it round the outside at turn 1, very brave. They almost make contact. I think they did make contact. They've got to be so careful. They're both going to end up in the wall here, and that's what neither of them wants. Glock needs to think about a championship. Dan the man knows he needs to get Glock if he is to have any sort of chance of winning this race, because Cliffy, 9.5 seconds clear of these 2. Dan the man, do you have damage?
No. I don't know how though.
It's good to hear. Alistair now all over the back of Court. Court in the dizzy heights of P7. Of course, Court a washed up, I would say washed up racer, but he was never actually good in the first place. So, Court just sort of getting along at the moment. And he looks like he might have made a mistake. Am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. But there's so many battles on the track. Let's go back with second, third and fourth. Dan the Man and Jack Hickey looking to try and find place. And Aidan Griffiths, who missed out on the podium in Portugal, might even miss out on a top 10 here in Monaco because Luca, Mr. Chiappelli, just half a second behind. But unfortunately for him, it's so difficult to overtake around here. Oh, Dan the Man almost spins himself round. A place you wouldn't normally expect to see a car spin itself round. Dan the Man missing a bit of time. But the pace difference he has over Glock, I sort of expect he will close up in a couple of corners anyway. We've got Court in the pit lane. Probably crashed out there and lost his front wing though, and Court. Alistair up into P7. Jordan all over the back of Phil Bardwell. Phil Bardwell will want to hold on to that top 5 position. But if any of these runners can make an early stop and get some clean air, the fact that Glock's holding Aaron up from sort of second downwards, we could see some moves. And worth to note, Matt Tibbos is already P11 and 5 seconds clear of Court. So I think Court was around sort of Jordan and Alistair. So I suspect Matt Tibbos is fighting the second and third at the moment. John is team radio.
No, nothing.
No, John has changed his mind.
No, because you said what I was about to say. Tibbos pitted early.
But he's in a bit of a spot of bother.
He is, unfortunately for Tibbos, he is stuck behind 2-time TGBTT, 1-time TGB Dirt, 1-time...
Excuse you, it's the driver in front.
That's what I was saying. Oh, it's Cena. Unfortunately for Tibbos, he is stuck behind Roy, but actually Roy's stuck behind Cena. Cena,
that's
unfortunately for him, is... don't worry everyone, we'll have an option next week to mute Jonas. There will be a mute Jonas if you press the red button, and you will not have to hear Jonas' bad jokes in the party.
Are you even a dad? I don't think you're valid to make those kind of puns without having children.
I think Roy's had enough of that. He has chosen to pit, and that is Jake Davis out of the race. Are we going to see the Aston Martin safety car make its appearance? We're hearing from our fellow drivers that apparently the safety car has been turned down in a new update, so we might not get a safety car from that, which I think will be good news for those that have already made their pit stops.
Yeah, I was going to say just before he just completely overshot the chicane.
Cliffy really in a race of his own. He's 12 seconds clear of everyone else on the 8th lap. If he throws it away from here, it will be quite embarrassing for him, I think. There'll be one to shake off. He's really dominating here. But Jake, unfortunately for him, the first DNF from this race. Dan the Man continues to harry and harass Cliffy. Where would he rejoin if he was to pit now? Matt Tibbos is only 4 tenths behind Roy, but Roy is 9 seconds clear of Aiden. So if Dan can come out ahead of Matt Tibbos, he'll have some beautiful clean air and can maybe even jump Glock. Let's see. Dan the Man
it's changed my front wing.
And it's changed in Dan's front wing, so he must have had some damage there. That's not what he needed, but it's good news for Phil Bardwell, Jack Hickey and Glock. If they all pit next time round, they will jump the Alpine drivers. That podium might have gone, and there is Aston Martin safety car looking pretty fine. Let's hope we see that a little later on. Matt Tibbos crucially ahead of Dan the Man. Dan the Man is behind Sam, Core and Jordan, as well as Roy and Tibbos. Roy really needs to let Matt Tibbos go in the interest of the championship, but he's not going to. He's going to try and hold back Matt Tibbos. Mr. Chiappelli. Mr. Chiappelli's rejoined just behind the Alpine. I think, thank God for Dan the Man, he'll be saying. At least Dan has sort of clear air now by a couple of seconds to try and pull back some of the time he lost on the last lap. I think Cliffy will just stay out for now. He's got the gap, and I think he knows he's just got to sort of make sure he's not missing out because of a safety car, a virtual safety car window. Jack and Phil, you'd expect.
Safety car.
Jack and Phil, you'd expect to respond now to Dan's slow pit stop. Glock stay. Glock does come in, but Jack chooses to stay out. Court has picked up a time penalty for apparently being too quick, which must be a glitch because Court can't possibly go too quick. So that, well, don't worry, Court. I'm sure that one will get taken off post race.
Thank you.
Glock into the pit lane
for the penalty to be removed.
Yeah. Is Glock going to come out ahead of Matt Tibbos? It's going to be very tight as they come round down to the first corner. Roy is going to get ahead, just is he? I think he'll actually be behind, so that's not what Matt Tibbos needed. Unfortunately for Matt Tibbos, Roy has not helped the championship standings by holding up Matt Tibbos. Of course, Roy, a former champion in multiple divisions, is, unfortunately for him, not helping Matt Tibbos. We suspect Roy's going to go a few laps longer as well, maybe waiting for the safety car Matt Tibbos is screaming, get out of the way, you Irish prick. That's what he's shouting. Joe Manatee. And then we've got a DNF. Cena is out of the race, and it's in the pit lane, thankfully.
Yeah, retired. He retired.
He retired, he did retire. That's why he's out of the race, and it's Cliffy.
Went into the pit lane and retired.
Leading from Jack Hickey.
Make a huge jump with all those penalties.
I mean, if Jack Hickey can set a very quick lap, we could see him come out ahead of all that train. He's going to want to be ahead of Roy, because look at that train behind Roy. Tibbos, Jordan, Court, Sam, and Dan the Man. Dan the Man, look at that. I mean, Glock's in P6 and Dan's in 12 because of that front wing change. Dan could really have done with not changing that front wing. Jack Hickey held up a little bit in the pit stops by that Williams of Phil Bargewell. That's not what he needed. But we'll see now, where is he in contention of all these cars? And Roy really is helping Glock today, isn't he? Because now Jack's going to be stuck behind them all as well. Jordan, Joe Manatee and Tibbos getting so close together. Tibbos finally through into 4th place. Joe Manatee holding up multiple cars. And we've got a Mercedes off. It looks like it might be Mr. Chiapelli, is it? There's a Mercedes off.
No, Cena's gone.
Okay, so despite retiring from the pit lane, Cena has gone out onto circuit. Parked it at the Rosberg corner. Look at this train, this is ridiculous. From fourth down, we've got a side-by-side from Sam Hickey and Dan the Man, I think.
Alistair, if you can, get on with it.
Just saying, he did cut the corner to pass.
Well, Roy is holding up an almighty train here. 5th down to about 13th. 5th down to about 13th.
Oh my goodness.
Courts, I will love you forever if you find the way.
Cliffy almost has a free pit stop there for Alistair. 19-second advantage now. I think he will pit now, his rivals have all done so. In fact, no, he stays out for another lap, but it's looking good, isn't it, for Glock to get P2 at a track he doesn't tend to do well at, so he'll be very happy. I think Joe Manatee will be getting a Christmas card from Glock. As Mr. Chiapelli has found himself spinning round, which helps Johners and Phil up a position.
Have you pitted Todd?
Yeah, but
you have pitted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan the Man's really thrown this one away, hasn't he? Looks like it would have been a P2 for the Williams driver. For the Alpine, sorry.
You know what's really embarrassing about this? I actually can't catch the back of the train.
Well, it's about 3 seconds separating 5th down to 11th. Lucas dropped off now with his incident. As Cliffy finally does make that pit stop from the lead. Alistair, I think even if he stayed out, wouldn't jump the Williams driver. It's looking good for Cliffy, as long as he doesn't crash in the closing lap. So you can see in the background, Court is letting Dan the Man through into P8. He knows Dan's the quicker car. Court only is good these days for letting cars through, and he makes use of that by allowing his teammate through, and Court almost loses the back end of the car. And Sam Hickey and Phil Bargewell will be looking to clear this Alpine pretty quickly too. But Alistair did stay out, and KM is just behind Cliffy. So 3/10 the difference. Alistair trying to go long here, maybe waiting for a VSC or safety car himself. Jack Pearson half a minute off the field, so Luca looking good for points. I suspect Jack Pearson might have an incident pretty shortly, which could help Alistair. Phil is racing.
Have you still not pitted right?
No.
Oh my god.
Can we have a safety car right now, please?
I mean, if Roy pits, he's going to come out 14th. He knows that, even if he pits now or pits in 4 laps, so he might as well just, I don't know, I guess wait for a safety car or some sort of drama, but it's not news that Jack Hickey, Dan the Man, Sam and Court and Phil and John all want to hear. Aiden as well, down in P13. He's not going to be getting a treat from the missus tonight, I don't think.
Annoyingly, that train's splintered, because I don't know why. Oh my god.
Phil Bargewell. Oh, sorry, no, it was Court. Someone made a move, a fantastic move, whoever it was. And they're through. They're through it into P9. Always now, here comes Sam Hickey, right back on the back of Court. Phil Bargewell still with them, and Jonas finally has caught up with this train. Alistair Manatee yet to pit in this race. Court, little twisty out of that final corner. And here we go, on the back now of, he's going to get around the outside of the turn 1 surely. Court, left harmless. And now Phil.
That wasn't defensive.
It's now going to be all over the back.
It's fine.
Court 2. So Court loses 1 place, but not 2. Sounds like Dan has got clear of Joe Manatee. He's into P7, but he's behind Jack Hickey. Alistair Bain for second to Trier. What's happened?
Dan's lagged car crashed into the tyre barrier, and I thought it was real,
Dan's lagging. Again.
It's fine now.
Yeah, I think you're focusing on wrong battle. Classic TMC there, tell you what to go.
I agree. I think. Maybe.
Whoa!
Oh, come on!
Matt Tibos with a penalty. Alistair Bain dives into the pit lane. Aidan Griffins has spun himself round, and thankfully he goes because Luca goes through into P13.
Alright, I need to get past Correct here.
Bain's out of the race, which could have helped his teammate. But he just left the pit lane.
Probably not.
Alistair rejoins. Right ahead, Phil Bargel, he'll be happy with that. P9, now he can not chase down those in front. Of course, Roy yet to pit, and Sam Hickey on all tyres.
Most of them softs.
Is there just like no safety car switched on the sank?
Apparently they turned it down.
Because I ripped the wheel off and nothing happened.
Yeah, can we have like increased safety cars on the next level?
Jake was literally halfway across the fucking track.
Make the most of the mouse, so come on.
Can Alistair get through on Sam Hickey? How hard will Sam work him for it? Oh, Sam spun himself round on the spawns! And that's not good news for Court, who got a time penalty for, I think, avoiding that. And Phil Bargel too. But Alistair into P8, nicely done. Helped by Sam spinning himself round, but he's through and now needs to clear Joe Manatee, who I suspect will pit this time round. Surely to get a fresh set of tyres and do something at the end.
He hasn't got hit the wall.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Court down to P12. Could have Luca gain a position, indeed he does. It's Cliffy leading. 12 seconds clear of Glock, who has a time penalty. So if Matt Tibbles can get close enough, depending on what the time penalty difference is, he could take that position. Jordan, P4. What a result this would be for the AlphaTauri. Make the most of that traffic jam in the midfield.
Oh my god, Matt's got a 12-second penalty.
And that puts Jordan into P3. Fantastic stuff. Jordan looking very good now, AlphaTauri. What a result this would be. Cliffy, fastest lap, takes it back, 110.3. Trying to make sure he scores the maximum points that he can here. He literally has got pole position, led every lap, and on course for the win, and fastest lap too. 13.7 clear of Glock. Jordan is 6.5 back. Let's have a look at those time penalties. It's 6 seconds to Jordan and 12 to Tibos. So actually Jack Hickey would get it at the moment. Jet Pearson, I think, is about to become another casualty in this race. He spun himself round. As Johners goes through on P9 as Johners finally pits.
If you put Tibos.
Tibos pitter.
How the fuck am I out of fuel? I put 2 extra laps in.
You gotta let go of the accelerator when you hit the brake, Jonas.
I think fine, I do.
I'm really low on fuel as well. I anticipated it.
I started on plus 2.2.
I've gained fuel. I don't like this.
Have they been putting it in as you've been driving, Phil?
Must be.
Oh, fuck. How the fuck did I not break the wing there? Jesus.
How far ahead is Jordan ahead of Matt?
1 second. Don't forget, drivers, save your recordings post-race to make sure you get yourself some nice photos for the thumbnail as Sam Hickey spins himself round trying to pass Jonas for P9, and that's going to be good news for Jonas now. There's a bit more breathing space, although, as I say, that Sam closes straight back in again. But Sam may have damage on that front wing, which was not what he would need in his battle with Jonas.
I am so fucked on fuel.
Matt Tibos with a 15-second time penalty is going to drop down to about, I think, 11th or 12th. So, in fact, he's very close to disqualification. He needs to be careful. Jordan will beat Tibos, but unfortunately for Jordan, he will also drop places to Jack, Dan, and maybe even Alistair. If Alistair can continue to set good laps up there in these final 2 tours of the circuit, he could very well get a top 5 finish.
How did I not get DRS?
Oh, this is painful.
Hey,
Got
well,
enough
Alistair,
fuel or not?
there's a chance you're going to catch me in if I run out of fuel.
Oh, so if you're quick enough, you may get a top 5.
0.03, I just can't. I've got no tyres left as well. I did on these since lap 2.
Gordon Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I know that, Jeff. You don't have to tell me.
Jonas for now holding on to those behind him, but those behind all have time penalties. Jack Pearson picks up another 3 seconds for himself, so looks like Jonas is pretty safe in P9. Not quite close enough to Phil to get 8.
Sam's just hit the wall on the inside. Oh my god. Oh, Sam.
Oh, we have a crash and Lucas round. That's not what he needed. He is now into the barriers as we come on to the final lap. Cliffy has had some race. What a race it's been from the Williams driver. He's dominated this from start to finish. His lead's going to be about 18 seconds, 19 seconds in the end. He's going to take his 6th race victory if he can just get through these final couple of sectors without incident. What a drive this has been. When Glock set the benchmark in Portugal, it looked like maybe advantage was turning to him, but Cliffy responds in brilliant fashion. Look how confident he is around this circuit. No fear, pushing still on the final lap, and it is going to be victory number 2 of the season, victory number 6 in his TGP career. ERT Cliffy, it's been some drive, and he wins in Monaco in TGP1. What a performance. It is going to be Glock surely that gets P2. He's got quite a lead over Jordan behind.
Come on.
Jordan holding on, 8/10 clear of Matt Tibos, but both these drivers are going to drop down with time penalties. Tibos sliding around there on those very old medium tyres now, of course pitted back on lap 2, so he'll be very tired with them. Looks like Jack
Hickey is
going to get P3. Dan the Man should get P4, but is Alistair going to get 5th? It's going to be very tight with Jordan. I think he might just miss out. Jack does take P3. Dan the Man takes P4, but what does Alistair do? He goes 6th. He doesn't quite get it. Phil is 7th. Matt Tibos 8th in the end. Jonas is going to get 9th. He's a second clear of Sam. Sam will get that top 10 finish. Good points for him. Of course, 10th place is now 5 points.
Fucking hell.
Jonas running out of fuel at the end. There's Luca going side by side with Trevor Manatee. And Manatee is beating Luca to P11. Fantastic.
Sake. If Sam had actually just yielded after hitting the wall, then I wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, these things happen in Formula 1.
I need to look at the start, because I feel like... I know I was hit by the Ferrari, but I think the Ferrari was hit by someone else.
Driver of the day is Alistair Bain. Can't argue with that. P6 for him. Not quite the result he managed in Portugal, but a good points haul nonetheless. That's 19 points gained for Alistair tonight. But it's Cliffy who bows to the audience here at Monte Carlo. It's win number 2 of the season. A fantastic performance from him. He claws back some championship points on his rival Glock, who was second despite sort of struggling here on the pad, so he'll be very happy with that. But it's P3 for Jack Hickey. He'll be very happy to be back on the podium. It's another brilliant night here in TGP. Got to say, some great racing out there, some great midfield action. But here are your results from the race. Cliffy and Glock, your front 2. Jack Hickey on the podium. Dan, Jordan and Alistair with Phil in his 200th race, taking P7. Matt Tibbles with his penalties was 8th in the end, with Jonas and Sam completing that top 10. Fastest lap, by the way, did go to Cliffy, 1:10.3. I dare say about 8 tenths quicker than anyone else. That was some lap from him. Roy came back to 11th in the end. Luca will be disappointed with 12th. Caught a season best in 13th. In fact, I think that's a career best for him. He'll be very happy with that one. Jack Pearson was 14th. Aidan was 15th. Cena and Jake, the last of the runners, and of course Paul, CJH, and one other driver were unable to make the race. It was Kieran, I do apologise. But what a night it's been here in TGB 1 the X. Again, join us tomorrow for Portugal and Monaco in TGB 2. But from me and the drivers, thank you for watching and good night.